In total, there are 4 topics. Topic 1 is Stalin. Topic 2 is February-October revolutions, Lenin, failures of the provisional government. Topic 3 is crisis of the Ancien regime and causes of the 1789 French Rev. Topic 4 is the Tsar, Alexander II and III. Before each topic and the quotes, I'll just go through all the points and then I'll go into it. Topic 1, Stalin. Points are decoolization and purges, and then media censorship, followed by women and mothers, and finally collectivization from 1928 to 1932 in the first 5-year plan. Points: decoolization and purges. Quote, a war against the nation. Historian: Adam Ulem, Polish-American Cold War. Point: media censorship. Quote, the Stalin airbrush effect. Historian: David King, British Cold War. Point: women as mothers. Quote, mother heroine or heroine. Source: Stalin. Point: collectivization triangle 1928 to 1932, first 5-year plan. Quote, Stalinism is one way of attaining industrialization, as cannibalism is one way of attaining a high-protein diet. Historian: Robert Conquest, British-American Cold War. Topic 2. February and October Revolution, Lenin, failures of provisional government. 3 points. Point 1 is economic factors, 1916 abandoned gold standard and 300% hyperinflation. Point 2 is about the socio-political discontent. Point 3 is about 1914 to 1917, Russia and World War I. Point: economic factors, 1916 abandoned gold standard and 300% hyperinflation. Quote, peace, land, and bread. Source: Lenin. Point: socio-economic discontent. Quote, fossilized autocracy. Historian: Orlando Fidges, British Cold War. Quote, dual authority. Historian: Richard Pipes, Polish-American Cold War. Quote, the provisional government exists so long as it is permitted by the Soviet. Source: War Minister Guchov, primary source. Point: 1914 to 1917, Russia and World War I. Quote, Russia was tended neither to be successful nor strengthened society's confidence. Russian wars tended neither to be successful nor strengthen society's confidence. Historian: Sheila Fitzpatrick, social historian. Topic 3. Crisis of the Ancien regime and causes of the 1789 French Rev. The 3 points are economic factors, regressive tax, money spending, hyperinflation, and then death of Louis XVI, reinstated parliaments, Louis XVI's weak will. Final point is social-political discontent, état général, the disillusionment, and the ideology forms. Point: economic factors, regressive tax, money spending, hyperinflation. Quote, working men in great numbers were discharged and became a burden on charity. Historian: Will Durant, social historian. Point: death of Louis XVI, reinstated parliaments, Louis XVI's weak will. Quote, the death of King Louis XVI at this critical juncture was the old regime's greatest disaster. Historian: Gordon Wright, American revisionist. Point: socio-political discontent, état général, disillusionment, and ideology forms. Quote, the essential cause of the revolution was the disparity between economic and political form. Historian: Will Durant, social historian. Point: the doors to advancement were closed to non-nobles. Historian: Will Durant, social historian. Topic 4. Tsar, Alexander II and III. The points are Edict of Emancipation, 1861, the Education Triangle militarization, post-1853 Crimean War, and the ineffective nobility and focused legal reforms. Point: Edict of Emancipation, 1861, quote, square bracket, emancipation was, square bracket end, the single greatest liberating measure in the whole history of Europe. Historian: M.S. Anderson, British, in brackets, long removed serfdom. Quote, education triangle, militarization, post-1853 Crimean War, quote, square bracket Russia, square bracket end, successfully recovered her international position. Historian Karl Watts. Quote, ineffective mobility-focused legal reforms. Nobility-focused legal reforms. Quote, the problem with the Russian peasants was not oppression, but isolation. Historian R.R. Palmer. For Alexander III, or like Tsar Alexander III, there are 3 points. First is increased economic platforms. Second is removed private EDT and more censors. Third point is strict hierarchy for the law.